All right, well, we're rolling. Good afternoon, evening, or morning to whoever's watching this, whether you've stumbled upon it by chance or you saw the last video and decided to stick around. Wanted to keep you guys in tune. I guess it's kind of like the end of the week, so we'll maybe do a week recap, see what we did to train and stay in shape for what I propose to be my half Ironman race near the end of August, since the one in Traverse City I was supposed to do got canceled about a month ago. But and represent the IMLP 70.3 hat from my disastrous race in September. Yeah, not good. If you want to look it up, you can go to 2019 70.3 Lake Placid results and look for bib 813 and see how I totally imploded on the run due to a bad nutrition strategy. So that's all I'm going to say about that. But going over this week, so I think last time I talked to you guys was last Saturday, and filled you in what I planned to do. So that following Sunday, or I guess the next day, went for a long bike ride, about 78K. What started out to be somewhat of a chill ride and just, spin the legs, have some fun, kind of turned into a bit of a moderate effort. I think we averaged about 29.5 kilometers an hour, which I was pretty happy with, knowing that the route got quite hilly near the middle segment and towards the end. As far as lessons learned on that ride, I need to start eating a lot earlier into the bike and not waiting an hour and a bit in, because definitely on that bike I felt myself starting to bonk a little bit, and I had a Cliff energy bar with me, not a gel, but like I'm not necessarily protein bars, but like the chocolate almond fudge thing. So I had one of those, and it just took a while for it to kick in because I really felt myself getting tired, like no energy in the legs. And then like the last 15K, 10K of the ride, I almost got I guess I did get a second win because I was able to pick up the pace a little bit, even on some of the last couple of hills. So yeah, you got to start eating earlier on the bike, which is one of my downfalls and what happened in that disastrous race back in September 2019 whenever I did this half Ironman. So yeah, so going to be practicing that a little bit more, maybe with some actual kind of like race nutrition stuff, so energy gels or energy chews, and not necessarily relying on Cliff bars, because they fill you up, but sometimes they're a bit harder to digest, I find, since they're more of a whole food or a solid food, I suppose. Maybe that's just bullshit, but that's how I think of it. Anyhow, so yeah, bit of a busy week as far as work goes, kind of a tiring week. But I think it was on Wednesday, managed to get out a 10K run, which is one of the first runs I've had in a while, where it was actually like at a tempo and not just, turning the legs over per se. So did that. I think we got 10.3K in total at around 44 minutes, 44.5 minutes. So pushing the pace pretty hard on that one. Like, it's not the fastest I can run, but just with some of the heat and humidity we had last week, like, it's just a difficult run, especially after working a full day and getting out there when you're already tired. So did that just to kind of get the cobwebs out. And then today pretty much did the same route, another 10 point something K. This time a little bit slower, so at 48 minutes, because today was quite hot as well, especially with the humidity. And just, hard to breathe, and you go outside, everything's sticky, you're practically sweating within the first half minute. So just took it a little bit easier today. Around like kilometer 7, I just stopped and tried to catch my breath a little bit. I was going at a comfortable pace. It was like 4:55 minutes kilometers, which is like pretty easy, but with this heat, it just wore me down a little bit more, and I could feel my heart rate almost beating through my chest. So I just stopped for like a minute and just, started breathing, resting a little bit, and just walking around, did some light stretching, just trying to lower my heart rate in the shade. And then I picked it up at kind of a bit of a slower pace. But I don't know if as well, whether there was some psychological issues with today's run, because I took my dad's Garmin Forerunner 245. We had the same smartwatch for running and triathlon. So he had taken my watch and I was just left with his. So I needed something to kind of monitor my pace and my distance. So I took his, but all of our heart rate zones are different. So I was doing like about 150 some beats per minute on the heart rate, and was telling me that I was almost getting near my threshold, which on my watch isn't even close. So that was kind of psyching me out a little bit, because once later on into the run, I started to get up into 160s with some of the faster kilometers, like around 430, 440. Like it was almost in the red line, and I was like, oh man, like maybe I'm working too hard. And I just, you know, kind of listened to it, even though it wasn't necessarily accurate, and slowed down and did that light stretching stuff. So I think tomorrow it's either going to be a bike outside or a bike on Zwift. I find Zwift has more of like a structured workout where you can hit certain power zones for a certain time target and just overall have a better balanced workout, not just going on the roads and, you know, going balls to the wall for an hour and a half, 2 hours. But we'll see what the weather's like. It's supposed to be another hot, humid day. Probably be some thunderstorms with the humidity and all that. So yeah, that's going to be tomorrow. This week, I definitely have to pick up some of the midweek stuff as far as biking and running goes, because yeah, I can't just, you know, have a huge training weekend, which I'm not really doing, to be honest, and use an excuse of, you know, working during the weekdays is, you know, an excuse not to train. So that's it. Tonight, got a little bit of a cheat meal. Got some pizza there. Kind of defeats the purpose of today's run, but it's my anniversary with my girlfriend, and that's how I'm celebrating. We can't celebrate together because she lives in the US and the borders are closed, so we got to see each other today across the water in Sarnia and wave to each other in FaceTime. So that was different, but just the way the world is right now. So keep doing your part, keep everyone safe around you, you know, friends, family, and you know, strangers as well. Everyone deserves to be safe in this pandemic, so do your part. Yeah, that's about it. So probably make a video sometime this week, maybe midweek, or if not, definitely on the weekend. So take care, see you soon, and keep you updated in the next video. See ya.